Okay, so now let's see how we can change the original SVM objective function into its dual form where everything will be a dot product. Okay, so let's start with the hard SVM. So the objective is over weights and biases. Okay, weights and the bias of the SVM, and it is basically half of this square, right? So we are trying to shrink the weights, right, and while keeping the margin constant. And what we will use is we will use the Lagrange form of the constraint, and the Lagrange form is that we will have a sum over I. Okay, these are all the data points, and we will have the Lagrange multiplier AI. Okay, and we will have this training point Ti. Okay, and then W transpose Xi plus B. Okay, minus 1. Why minus 1? Because the margin is minus 1. Okay, and with subject to the constraint that AI, all AIs are greater than equal to 0 for all I. Okay, so what is this? This is basically the Lagrange form of the constrained optimization over W. We are trying to shrink W. We are trying to shrink the mod of W. Okay, the L2 norm of W, and it is subject to the condition that for all training points this particular expression should be greater than equal to 1. Okay, or in other words, this expression minus 1 is greater than equal to 0. So from Lagrange multipliers, what we know is that, let's say we have some Lagrange multiplier over some variable x. Okay, we have a Lagrange function, right? So what this function encodes, let's say this function is f of x plus lambda g of x. Okay, lambda greater than 0. Okay, so this function encodes, so if we want to minimize this function, we are encoding minimizing f of x subject to g of x is greater than equal to 0. These two so minimize this first form and this second form are equivalent. Okay, why are they equivalent? That basically goes back to the Lagrange multipliers. So let's say if we have an x space, this is x1, this is x2. Okay, and if we look at f of x and we plot its contours, values, the contours of equal value, right, and let's assume they look like this, right? And what we want is we want gx to be greater than equal to 0. So now let's change the color and let's draw the boundary of gx equal to 0. So let's say gx is equal to 0 is this boundary, and this side of the boundary is gx greater than equal to 0. The other side is gx less than equal to 0. So now what we want is we want the solution to lie on the right side of this red curve while it finds the minimum of the yellow curves, right? So what we will want is that yellow curve, the solution will be at a yellow curve that is tangential to the red curve. Okay, let me draw it in a green color so that it stands out. So this green color is one of the yellow curves. This green is the ideal yellow curve because it is tangential to the red curve. At that point, we will achieve the solution where the two curves are tangential. Okay, and that is easy to see that for all the other yellow curves other than the green curve, right? So either the gx greater than equal to 0 is not satisfied, or the minimization of fx is not satisfied, right? If you go to any green curve that is outside, any yellow curve that is outside of the green curve, then fx is a larger value. If we go towards the left, then fx is smaller value, but it will never touch it will never touch this gx is equal to greater than equal to 0 boundary. Okay, so how we get to this Lagrange equation is that if you want to minimize this, we will take its derivative and set it to 0, and that vector derivative is going to be, the vector gradient is going to be 0 only when the derivative of fx and derivative of gx are in the same direction or opposing directions. They are either aligned in with 0 degrees or 180 degrees. So that means what we will have is that we will, with a constant lambda, we can cancel the two out, and we will get the derivative equal to 0. Okay, so for based on that, you can see that this Lagrange multiplier will give you the constraint optimization equation. So now let's go back to the W space instead of this X space, and this X is, by the way, different from, this is just an example X space. So let's draw a boundary around it. We don't need it anymore. Now let's go back here to the W space. The first objective that you see is basically equivalent to minimizing mod of W square subject to multiple constraints where Ti times W transpose Xi plus B is greater than equal to 0. Okay, so it is precisely the hard SVM objective that we are trying to minimize. Now if we do that, what we need to do is we want to basically get all the x in that equation out, and we want to replace them. We want to convert it into a dual form where it is only x transpose x. Okay, so for that, what we will do is we will have this new objective function now, where with the Lagrange multipliers also, right? And this is what we had in the previous slide. Okay, so for this particular objective function, which we want to minimize, okay, we will set the derivatives of L with respect to W equal to 0. Okay, so when we set this derivative equal to 0, what we will get is the value of W, the exact value of W for which we get the minimization, and that is precisely sum of all I, okay, of AI Ti Xi, right? So how do we get that? Let's say if we take the derivative equal to 0, for this particular one we will get the first term, we will get half of 2W, right? And here we will get negative of, so B will not matter because there is no W here. We are taking derivative with respect to W equal to 0, and that will be 0 for the B term, right? And it will also be 0 for the -1 term. What we will get is AI Ti, and then derivative of W transpose X will be Xi. So when we solve for that, we will get the weight is equal to AI Ti and Xi, sum of that for all I. Okay. Similarly, when we take derivative of L with respect to B and we set that equal to 0, what we will get is this equation where you will have sum over I of AI Ti. Okay. So now we can plug these two in back into the equation to eliminate both W and B. Okay, so what we will get is the objective in terms of A, okay, just in terms of A, and that will be summation of I of AI once we plug that back in, and then we will get half, okay, of sum over all I, and then sum over all J. I'll tell you where the J is coming from. Okay, and we will get AI AJ Ti Tj, and then X transpose Xi transpose Xj. All right, and so once we minimize these, we will get the values of AIs, right, and that will give you the equation for the SVM. Now, where do we get the J from, right? There was no J earlier. So what you can see is that the value of the weight has one summation running over all the training points. When we plug it back in, right, when we plug it back in here and here, right, especially when we plug it back in here, it is going to be a summation over all training points, and we have another summation over all training points. So we will get two summations, and they will be two separate indices. One is I, the other is J. That's how we get the summation over I and summation over J. If you can derive it on your own, it's not that difficult. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure that when you plug the value of W here, right? Let me change the color. So when you plug the value of W here, this summation is going to become a summation over J. Okay, because it's not the same summation that you have here. These are going to be two different summations. Both will be running on all training points. So one will be over I, index I, the other will be over index J. So that we want to have non-same index pairs like xi and xj. So once we have that, this is the equation that we will get. Okay. And if we want to compute the output, that output is going to be sum over all I. Okay, for any particular input x, it's going to be sum over all I, ai, ti, okay, and x transpose xi, okay, plus b. And we can plug in the value of b whenever we can solve it. So notice a couple of things here. So here we have been able to change the equation so that x does not appear alone. It actually appears as pairs of training points. So we are looking at pairs of training points xi and xj. Whereas once we are computing the output for any test case, okay, any test case x, right? So for that, we have been able to convert the same equation into its comparison with every training point. So this is test and this is training. Now, are we comparing it to every training point? Well, no. We will have some AIs will be 0. AI is greater than or equal to 0. For some training points, AI will be exactly 0. And those training points will not be a part of the equation, a part of this summation. And what that means is that they are not going to be support vectors. If A is greater than 0 strictly, then they will be part of this equation, and because of that, those will be the support vectors. But here, now because we have this transpose, we can or the dot product, we can replace this by kernel function of xi and xj here, and here we can replace it by kernel function of x and xi. Okay. So that is precisely the dual form that we were hoping for, and now we can replace this kernel function by any function that basically is a Mercer kernel, which basically satisfies the property that its Gram matrix is positive semi-definite.